Hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC Showcase video. For this, we are going to be looking at the coaches that go with Stephenson's rocket. I've already done a video on the locomotive itself, so the rest of the focus of this video will be on the coaches. All three of these coaches were built up to be identical, so I'm not going to be showcasing all three, I'm only going to be focusing on just one of them. So this design had a few different iterations. I did a lot of sideways building to get some of the windows achieved, as well as some upside down building to get a bit of the curvature where the black and white details meet in the middle. One thing I want to quickly add is I don't really know where this thought came from. It probably came from like 00 gauge models, for example, but I love the idea of having 20 or so of these tiny coaches just in a line, all being hauled by a passenger express engine. It's such a stupid kind of silly thought, but at the same time I would love to see what that would look like. So maybe one day in the future I'll make a few more of these and we'll just see a massive rig of these tiny coaches just going at high speed. I went back and forth with the roof because I wasn't too sure if I wanted this to be in black or in light grey. I settled with black because of the convenience of having the bricks to hand, and I think ultimately looks better. The black and yellow dominance of the body really does suit a black roof. I think if this was in light grey it would just look a bit too awkward. The coaches also have some trim line tape to them, and this was a very last minute decision. It does bring out a bit more detail and make it look a little bit more realistic compared to the real life coach. I am also using a yellow Legoland brick in the middle of each coach. This was also a sort of last minute idea because I was going through some Bricklink orders and I discovered I had two of these in yellow. The store that I was looking at also had enough of these to make the rest of the coaches to each have Legoland written on them. The real life coaches do have some writing along the sides of them, and this is a nice sort of in-between. It's not exactly blank, but it does fill in a bit more space. I wanted to have all of the details around the wheels to be brick built, but because of how I've attached the magnets, nothing really worked. I spent an evening, like 3.5 hours, going back and forth with so many ideas. Some things worked in some areas, but I couldn't continue them on other areas, and it was just so frustrating. So ultimately, I had to concede and use the solid wheel pieces, which still looks nice, but it's not as nice as I wanted it to be. I've also got these steps that connect up to the doors of the coaches. This is technically a 10 wide coach, but the body is 6 wide and you get the ideas. I do actually like this design for steps though. It's very simple of its time, but it's so different. I really do like this. And having mentioned the magnets, there is something I wanted to try out. I was avoiding the use of the single buffer magnet pieces, as I really did want to have the yellow buffer beams as seen on the real coach. So I grabbed some separate magnets from some old couplers and threw together a small technique that creates what you're looking at here. There were a few different iterations of this as well as I was going through where I was going to be positioning the wheels, and this is perfect. It goes over points and curves nicely, and it is a very quirky thing. I don't think I've ever done something like this before, but I definitely see myself trying this again in the future. And that is it for this MOC Showcase video. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Whilst these coaches weren't on my to-build list, this is something that I think was a bit overdue. Having attempted these coaches in the past, I kind of saw those and thought, you know what, it's definitely worth giving these another go. This is also a good thing in the sense that it is another step forward with focusing more on rolling stock, something that I definitely need to push myself towards doing more so in the future. So, there we go. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out on the community tab for polls and updates. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.